emphasis on defense, we have to be very careful from the very beginning because we want to be early and we want to know where we're placing our feet. Can I borrow you, Ray? So we're just going to work real quick going from closed to open. And what I want to try and avoid is having my feet dangling or on the mat or in a place where it's going to be easier for them to grab, and I want to try and maintain connection, okay? So I'm going to open up my legs, pinch my legs together, hips are off the mat a little bit. I'm going to rotate from my toes to my knees to my side to get that shoulder rotation and then bring this foot up. And when I bring this foot to raise hip, I don't want to have it down here where he's going to lay on it. I have it kind of here at center, and then I can move back and get my other foot on this hip. My goal is to get my feet on his hip bones, right? So nice and slow, we're just going to open. We're going to work that rotation, bring this foot up, bring this other foot up. Now, if he stands, same thing, I want my feet on his hip bones. If Ray just throws a leg, moves a leg back, see my feet stay where they're at. If I go for a sweep, my feet are where they need to be. If I go down here and Ray moves his leg back, I lost that connection. If I go down here and I want to go to a sweep, I have to go back here, right? If my feet are dangling out here, it's easy for them to grab at any moment and just drop into a foot lock. When I'm here and have good connection, a little bit of weight, it's going to be much, much harder, okay? And this is going to be our starting point for the attacks tonight. And you just want to be mindful anytime you're in that position. I know it's possible for him to grab it. So I can kind of circumvent that by having my feet on his hip bones again, right? Now, if he stands up, if my butt's on the mat and I have no weight, pick a foot. It's easy for him to grab a foot. Yeah, just reach down and go first. Yeah, right? As soon as I start to transfer weight into it, it's harder. And that's the first thing, is I want to make his job hard. So he's trying to grab my foot. And as he goes to grab it, I'm transferring my weight in it, and I'm chopping at my hip, my legs down, right? I'm not bending here, but at the hip joint. So Ray catches my foot. I'm making it heavy, making it hard for him to get it, but he gets it and he wraps it up. I want to turn and put my foot out, heel out onto his chest, and then I can pull it out. I'm not going to stay there, right? Because there's a potential submission there as well, but I'm just using that to get my foot out. Because what he wants to do, go ahead and go into a whole foot lock. Good, go back. So he wants to catch my foot, and then his next objective is to catch my knee and then my hip. Okay, and he's going to lock up one leg with two, and that's what gives him the submission. Go ahead. So that's basically whatever variation he hops into. Good, come back. As he goes for it, when I get my heel out, not only does that free my foot out of the foot lock, but see, it makes it much harder for him to catch my leg, that angle, right? And then I can get my foot back. Once he grabs it, you know, that rotation to clear that heel. And that rotation, it's not just about the fact that you get your heel out. It's when I rotate my hips this direction, turn my knee this way, it's much harder for him to come in and get a bite on my leg, whether he wants to go for a heel hook or a leg lock. Basically, it's harder for him to control one leg with two because the angle of my foot. So that changes, makes it so much harder. Just that pummeling motion, right? So I want to get my foot out, but I know he's grabbed it. I know he wants that go. I'm just going to occupy that spot to begin with. Stand back up. Want to get my foot back. It's like, oh, he's taking it. I'm already there. Okay, I'm just going to keep this. I know he wants to step there. He can bring his leg over if he wants, but I'm already where I need to be. Okay, go back. So that's the first piece. Don't let him grab your leg, right? I want to get my heel out, but he gets it. I'm early to that next spot. Okay, now as he lays down, I'm blocking it and then making a frame. Grab low on the lever, and then like a tactical stand-up, just put weight on it. The rest of this we can work on in practice, but that's the key, right? So you're blocking out that hip early. After I've made that frame and pinned, what I like to do, go belly down, is just hold this just for a second and be inside this position. And now I want to move my hips, and not only move my hips, but I'm turning my hips up, right? So then we can start to attack and take mount. So I'm not going to sit there and hang out with my foot on his knee. His leg's stronger than my hand. But just for that brief moment, I'm keeping him from going belly down while I move my hip out. And sometimes if you're late, right? He's dug in here. Getting that off your belly can be hard. Pushing your hip forward for a second sometimes helps, right? Because I'm bent like this. He's got a nice pocket for that heel. As soon as I extend my hips forward, I can lock it. I want to hang on to that leg, not let him go belly down. And then we can start to work to keep going. If he is a leg lock person, I don't want to hang out at that distance with him and he's just going to switch to different grips and grab different feet and go to different things. So my goal is to get on top of him and take away space, right? So if we're here, and just to give you a better example of that, if he's crowding me and he goes for that foot lock and I feel like I can keep that arm and pull him in close, I'm always going to do that, right? If I can grab his head here, because if he lays back to take a foot lock now, he's going to pull me on top of him, then of course I'm going to do that, right? So you don't want to assume that we're going to give this person that. I don't want to let him get that space to throw his feet in there. And once he takes the foot, and I'm early, and I get this trap, right? I want to get close to him. I don't want to hang out back here. My goal is to get myself on top. So if I can keep his feet close, get my leg over the top and work to mount, whatever I can do here to get on top of Ray, I'm going to do. I want to stay as close to him as possible. Grab his head, right? Because he's going to want to lay back and throw his feet over the top of me again. And you just wind up playing that kind of game where you're not giving him any space. Okay, so don't forget about that either. A lot of that's intuitive. Go through it again. But I am doing the best I can, and I want to stay close to him, not give him any space out there. I'm not going to just lay back there, okay? So keep that in mind. Try and work to mount. Stay tight. And I'm just going to show a progression here real quick. Between him being in my guard, just go to your knees, and him laying back and controlling one of my legs with two of his legs, there's a lot of time, right? So the first thing is not letting him grab your feet. And then we have our legs being heavy. And then if he still catches my foot, we have repummeling to get our heel out, right? And then he may grab my foot, but he's still in close. And when he's in close, I like to grab the elbow or the tricep. You can kick your leg through and just start to work more of a closed guard and attack from here, right? And if you have a grip like this and I'm close to him and he lays back and goes for the foot lock, I'm not going to give him space. I'm going to stay with him and go. So you miss all of those up. All of that was gone. Keep going into the foot lock by the time you get to here. And so now I'm just being early on my hip bone. Being early on my hip bone saves me a lot of trouble. And then making sure I'm not going to let go of that leg until I'm past it or on top of it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for frequent updates because we're updating this every week. And make sure you comment and like and share our videos. We appreciate it, and we definitely try and respond to all the comments. And if you like what we're doing and you like the material, check out SBG University, SBGU, and you're going to see a ton more in much greater depth than what you see here on YouTube. Thank you very much.